I've heard Abraham talk before about if you're not letting go of beliefs in every moment, then you're not moving forward, you're not evolving, you're not experiencing this.
Well, it is a sentiment that we have, because beliefs are so much wrapped around what is. And if you are really a what-is-er, believer in what-is-er, then you're not allowing yourself to focus forward. We may not be as specific about it as to say in every moment if you're not. We're just saying beliefs are old thoughts.
Yes, patterns of thought.
Beliefs are thoughts that you have been thinking, and every single thought that you have been thinking has an improved version.
Yes.
Every single one.
I cannot help but extrapolate what you talked about with the teacher and the student to all of us, right?
Yeah.
All of us being teachers, all of us being students.
Yes.
And I think there is some...
all being cooperative components to one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
or potential cooperative components.
And I think you touched on something so brilliant there, where there's often a connotation that we as humans have of an imbalance of power of knowing with teacher and student, just
beliefs.
The lexicon. Exactly. And I think...
sucky beliefs. Beliefs that others have imposed on you. Think about it. Those who came before you, your mothers and fathers and teachers, they said a lot of things, and you heard them say them. And in a lot of what they said, they believed what they were saying. And because they believed it, they had a point of attraction. So their point of attraction caused them to demonstrate their beliefs at the same time that they were talking about them. Is it any wonder that they became your beliefs? Because they said it and you witnessed it, therefore it must be true. But when you give yourself the latitude to understand that people are creating their own realities and that beliefs are creations, they are not assigned from some static standard, this is always true. Whew. Then when you exercise your own ability to choose whether that's a belief that you want to demonstrate in your own life experience, and of course those who have come before you don't want you to prove them wrong because they want to be right, but they also in most cases want your expansion and your joy. So you're faced with choices. Who, under what influence are you? And if you don't even know that there's a source energy that is offering you a vibration, how could you begin to calibrate it? Because those who came before you have been constantly demanding of you that you calibrate to them. Can't you hear what I'm saying? Do you see my lips moving? What is it about this that you don't understand? Don't you know what I want you to do? In other words, there are hundreds of ways that they insist that you conform to what they believe. And you're just chomping at the bit. You just know that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be right. And the wise ones among you just know it's not right and keep your mouth shut. You get a lot less grief. And those of you that know it can't be right and can't keep your mouth shut, you get a lot of grief initially. But it's so wonderful when you get it.
It's so good. It's so good because in talking about the idea of being a teacher standing up in front of students or being in a conversation with one person, a conversation with 300 people, to spark the interest of somebody else, you have to be interested, right? That's just...
To spark the interest in someone else. Now let's break down what that sentence said. To have a vibration so active in me that it has the potential of activating the vibration in another. To have an idea so active in me because I'm synced up with source and therefore I'm 1,000,000 times more powerful than one who isn't. To have a vibration so active in me that the probability of activating it in another is so much greater. That's true power of influence. And of course, you could never activate something in another that wasn't for their highest good, because you're hooked to the highest good before you have the power.
And the very nature of, I find finding what and witnessing what lights people up is the best scavenger hunt of my life. I think it's why I'm put on this earth. I think actually it's probably why we're all put on this earth, to just be able to witness and experience and celebrate in that, watching somebody who does what light you up because you yourself are actually doing what
you just said is absolute. And so therefore, can you take it to the next level? Can you imagine how your inner being feels when you light up? Just the sheer act of lighting up means calibrating to all that you are and all that you have so far become. So far,
to the best of my capability in this human experience, yes.
To the furthest expanded current temporary reach of my ability. Because you're not ever going to get it done. You can't get it wrong. You never get it done. You can't get it wrong. You're not ever going to get it done. You can't get it wrong. And that's why we want you to relax in your incompleteness and celebrate it. Because eternity depends on you being willing to be incomplete. Because in the moment you believe that you've got it all, you shut down. You don't reach anymore. And that's when people feel saddest. When they're not reaching. When they're not letting themselves want. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And I think it's also why everything is a co-creation, because if I'm in a space where...
Why is everything a co-creation?
Because when I have such a pure desire of wanting to see you do what lights you up and feel what lights you up, then I am in that space of what we all share at the place, which you're all one source energy in a vortex where we are all connected on that level.
But let's be clear about this. Wanted or unwanted, you can light people up on unwanted things too.
What have you heard?
Nothing about you. But that's important to know. And you are influential beings. And when you get momentum going, because people already have propensities, they're already in a vibrational arena or genre or readiness. And so when you get hooked into something, but it's so much better to acknowledge the difference in lining up with your inner being and your inner being's therefore point of attraction on your behalf. When you cooperate, when you become a cooperative component to your own desires and your own becoming, oh, it's such a powerful point of attraction. And when you use the term light someone up, that's what you meant.